Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Zach. I'm the Director of Religious Education at the Fourth Universalist Society in the city of New York. This is the fourth lecture in a series that we are working on for adult education on reading American Sage by Barry Andrews, which is taking us on a tour of Ralph Waldo Emerson's theology, philosophy, self-culture, self-reliance, all kinds of stuff. And so it's been an exciting journey so far. We have many more lectures to come. And so here we go. We're going to dive in. Today, we're talking about chapter 3 in the book. We'll explore Ralph Waldo Emerson's vision of self-culture and consciousness, focusing on his journey through classical education, his critique of conventional religion, and his dedication to developing a first philosophy, which is a very important phrase for Emerson, centered on spiritual and personal growth. Emerson's philosophy is about much more than intellectual study. It's a call to cultivate the soul, embrace individual truth, and discover unity within ourselves and with others. Emerson's early exposure to the Greek and Roman classics at Harvard laid a powerful foundation. Emerson spent a lot of time in these texts. Ancient philosophers like Plato and Aristotle, as well as poets and thinkers, shaped his ideas a lot. They taught him that the journey of learning wasn't just about accumulating knowledge, but engaging with it personally and reflectively. Very important for Emerson, very important for us as modern-day UUs. Emerson's first philosophy, there's that phrase again, didn't develop as a formal doctrine or set of rules. Instead, it grew from his idea of self-culture, a pursuit of personal, spiritual, and ethical refinement. Self-culture for Emerson wasn't simply self-improvement, it meant fostering a profound awareness of what is real. A path where one must go beyond sensory appearances to tap into the inner ideal, aligning with reason rather than understanding. And don't worry, we're going to talk more about this. We talked a bunch about this last week, but we're going to spend this week making sure we understand what that means. For Emerson, reason and understanding are two distinct aspects of consciousness. Understanding is our capacity to process sensory experiences coming in from the external material world. But reason is something higher, connected to intuition inside our minds, inside our cognitive faculties, connected to intuition, universal truths, and the ideal. For Emerson believed that true wisdom and insight come not from mere sensory data from the understanding, but come through reason, a divine guiding principle within all of us. Reason reveals what understanding can only outline, he suggested, meaning that without reason, our view remains shallow and bound by appearances. Just to review, Emerson's journey led him away from traditional Christianity. He became disillusioned with doctrines that relied on supernatural beliefs rather than personal experience. Again, why he's good for modern-day Unitarian Universalists to study. Seeking something more immediate, he embraced a spirituality that wasn't constrained by dogma or creeds. This shift allowed him to place his faith in an immanent divine, an oversoul, as he called it, that resides within each of us and connects all beings. This term oversoul can be a little tricky because for Emerson, remember, the divine is within the world, within nature, within us. The divine is not some outside transcendent being has some kind of agency and can reach down into the world and change things. But that's a little bit what it sounds like when we use the term oversoul, which Emerson liked. Don't allow the term oversoul to represent some transcendent theistic God figure. Remember, God is immanent within the world. For Emerson. Central to Emerson's spirituality is the belief in a universal soul, a unifying force that transcends individual ego. This is the divine presence that flows through all things, uniting us in a moral fabric. For Emerson, surrendering to this unity doesn't diminish an individuality, but enriches it. He described this as right aligning with nature, suggesting that our actions are truly ethical when they reflect this universal connection. Now, while Emerson's ideas might seem abstract, they are abstract, they don't just seem abstract, he believed that they had real-world implications. The modern world, with issues like artificial intelligence, consumerism, and ethical dilemmas, often lacks a moral framework, as we can see if we just turn on the news. Emerson's emphasis on reason over understanding could offer an ethical foundation in a society driven by data and technology. In choosing reason, he suggested, we find a way forward that aligns with universal truths rather than transient material interests. And this is important because Emerson's emphasis on reason over understanding could offer an ethical foundation that we can find within ourselves, within the world, in an immanent way, not relying on some kind of external, divine, theistic figure. For Emerson, self-culture was about aligning with the ideal, an enduring realm of truth and beauty. It's a path of cultivating our awareness to recognize what is eternal within the transient. What is eternal within the transient? To educate the eye, as he put it, means training ourselves to see beyond mere appearances to the real, which is always present within our lives. Now, Emerson is not diminishing the real, the appearances. Those things matter. In fact, we need those things to allow our reason to process the real and nature for Emerson was both a teacher and a sanctuary, and this is important. He found that solitude in nature allowed the mind to perceive unity and awaken to the miraculous in the everyday. You get that? Nature is very important. Nature actually affects the way our minds work, the way our cognitive abilities function. Nature's beauty, he believed, helps us reconnect with the eternal now. If you know the work of Eckhart Tolle, you've heard that phrase. Restoring a sense of wonder and reminding us of our place within a greater whole. Finally, Emerson's call to self-reliance encapsulates his philosophy, completely almost. He urged each individual to seek their truth rather than rely on the beliefs imposed by a society or tradition. This path, though very challenging, is ultimately liberating. It requires a courage to be true to oneself, to question received wisdom, and to face uncertainty with resilience. And this is the reason I'm having us walk through so much of Emerson by way of Barry Andrews, because I think it's so fruitful for modern day Unitarian Universalists to think about this stuff. So in essence, Emerson's philosophy is about balancing reason and understanding, seeking unity within ourselves and with the universe, and cultivating a life of spiritual depth and ethical integrity. His vision encourages us to live with a conscious alignment to the ideal, embracing self-culture as the foundation for a life of wholeness and peace. Through self-reliance, communion with nature, and a dedication to personal truth, Emerson believed that we could each find our way to a life that resonates with the divine. And remember, for Emerson, the divine is not the divine you grew up hearing about. It's something different. Okay, I hope you have all enjoyed the fourth lecture in this book study series, and I will see you in just a second.